So today, I'm finally giving my review of the latest third generation Apple TV 4K. Now, I've been using the Apple TV since the second generation Apple TV, quite a while ago, and have gone through several iterations since then. And I actually own all three of the 4K generations, the first, second, and now the third. And so I actually have a pretty good stance on it. I've been using this since it was released, the third generation that is. So I've had it for a couple weeks now. Maybe a little more than that. So I do have some things to say. So let's dive in. Hey folks, and welcome back to techgooch. So like I said, I've been using the third generation Apple TV 4K now for some time, since the release day. Now I own the 128 gig version, and they also offer that lower 64 gig version. So they are a little bit different than the older version. So this is the second gen model, which still came with the newer remote, but obviously different processor, different things like that. Now, I will say that in this version, the second gen version, whether you get the 32 or the 64 gig, that's all the difference is. The 32 gig is half the storage capacity as the 64. And the storage capacity is really for the apps that you download, or for buffer space for the videos that you're streaming. I always went to the 64 gig, so I never worried about it because I never knew what was coming, right? And so I'm always happy that I went to the larger one. And to be honest, 20 bucks difference, I'll double the storage for 20 bucks. I'm fine with that. This guy, yeah, you get the 64 or the 128, but that's not the only difference. The 128 gig version has several things that, well, is noticeable. For one, the 128 gig version is the only one that has an Ethernet port on the back. So if you don't want to use Wi-Fi and you actually have a hardline connection to your router, which I do at all of my streaming boxes because I want the fastest connection possible, and I also don't want as many devices on my Wi-Fi network, so it bogs down my wireless for my mobile devices. So anything in my house that can be hardwired pretty much is hardwired. And that's just my own preference, and I did that on purpose, and I took the time to route cables. Not everybody can do that. Obviously, every home is different. So if that's not a big deal, hey, that it is what it is. But there are other things that this box does with the 128 gig version that the 64 gig version does not have. We'll go through that here shortly. Also, I really did want to mention this. Right now, this is Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you're watching this after that, hey, it is what it is. But for the Black Friday holiday, this 64 gig box, second gen, is on sale for 99 bucks. And the 64 gig version of this, so you could kind of pair them, right, is $132. You know, and then the 128, the one I actually own, is like 143, I think is what it is. This is a steal. For 99 bucks, well worth it. Unless you're looking for the newest and you need all the latest things, this box will do everything that, not everything, but most things that this box does very well. Now, I will say that, and the biggest thing that I did when I did my setup video, which I'll put a link down below to, is I didn't upgrade from this box to this box because, oh man, it's time to upgrade. It wasn't. This box was working great. But I do videos, and the point was, what did I notice a difference? And I will tell you that I did notice a difference. Over the last couple weeks, this box has fewer app restarts, fewer small glitch issues that I would say probably are attained to the processor being bogged down and things like that. This is a more powerful box. The processor that they put in this guy is more powerful. So you would expect that. And also, I think it also attunes to the extra space and everything that this box has that this box doesn't. I think is a big thing as well. So did I notice a difference? Yes. Was it a vast difference? No. Unless you have a specific TV that, you know, the differences between Dolby Vision and HR10 and things like that with the HDR range, you may or may not actually see that. I have a Dolby Vision TV, so I was using Dolby Vision on either of these. So, you know, that's one thing to say at least. So with the third gen box, really, you have two options, right? You have a 64 gig version, you have a 128 gig version. The 64 gig is Wi-Fi only, does not have an Ethernet port. It does not support Thread. It has a few things that are lacking that the 128 gig box does. And what I would spend the extra 20 bucks for the storage, I would absolutely spend 20 bucks just for the Ethernet port. Again, that's dependent on you and your household and how you use your boxes. But I like having that wired capability. So that's another thing. The other big thing, the difference between, well, let's go back the other way, right? The second gen and the third gen is, while the remote is essentially the same remote, Lightning, USB-C. So, you know, you can see that change over to USB-C in more Apple devices with the new box. So the big thing that I will point away from this is, you know, if you're looking at the sales right now, or maybe even closer to Christmas, and you're considering looking at Apple TVs, because in all reality, these are the premium set-top boxes that you're going to be looking at. That's not, you know, maybe a gaming type box, right? And specifically, if you're an Apple household, these have that integration that the other products do not have. Which one would you go to, specifically at the price? So this 64 gig version, if I could get this for 99 bucks, that's very tempting. It really is. Specifically because I'm not going to compare this 64 gig version to the 64 gig version of this, because you're stepping down in terms of a couple features. While yes, you are getting the latest processor, and this is smoother running because of that. Really, you have to compare the 64 gig of the old one to the 128 gig to have a really side-by-side comparison. Smaller footprint on the newer one, does not have any fans or anything in it. It is a sealed box, kind of like the older Apple TVs were. So it takes a smaller footprint, which I actually had to change my wall mount out to a different wall mount because it just didn't fit this one because it is smaller. So that's another thing to mention as well. This is a smaller footprint, so that's nice as well. But all in all, after having upgraded, now I have 3 displays in my house, so basically every time I upgrade that living room, I just kind of step the other one down to my bedroom and the other one down to the family room. From my bedroom, essentially, just kind of step them down from the most used to the least used. And I'm happy I made the call of actually upgrading. Most households, I cannot tell you that you need to upgrade from second to third gen. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. But if you have a first gen 4K Apple TV, I think this is definitely a worthwhile upgrade because the processor is substantially faster. You upgrade to the newer style of remote, which has a lot of benefits to it in all reality. Yeah, solid Apple TV. Obviously, usually every time a new one comes out, once you try it, it's got that same feel, kind of like an iPhone. You get the new iPhone, you're like, oh, yep, now that's my new favorite iPhone, right? It's because it's everything my iPhone was, but it's faster. In this case, with this Apple TV, it's everything the Apple TV was, just injected with a little more steroid juice to make it faster and more reliable. Not to say that this is not reliable, because if you've ever watched any of my videos from even all the way back to the older generation Apple TVs, the most reliable set-top box on the market. I can't tell you how many times I had to power cycle my Roku box back then, or my Fire TVs, or the issues that I'd have. But these are a premium box. They don't cost $30, they cost $100 or more. So again, not trying to beat that home, but in the end, all said in the end here, would I look at upgrading to this box again? Absolutely. Am I upgrading my other TVs that have the second gen? No, I am not, because this is not a necessary upgrade to this. But at the prices that they're selling this at, it is a fantastic box. They did a good job by reducing the price a little bit at the starting price. And of course, right now they're on sale. That's pretty awesome as well, having a new product on sale that's on the market. So if you're looking for something for a gift for somebody this holiday, this is definitely a worthwhile endeavor. If you know they don't really care about maybe the newest features, they just want a better streaming box, then the 64 gig version may have everything that they need. But like I said, for 20 bucks, I would absolutely buy the 128 gig just because of all the advanced features, the thread networking, the Ethernet port. that's the two things, really, more than anything, that's probably the two things that I would upgrade to this guy for. So thank you for watching to the end of this video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below. By all means, head over to my Geek Smart channel. I'll put a link down here at the end and also at the top of the description where you can watch the setup video when I actually pulled this guy out of the box for the first time, compared it side by side with the older generation, and yeah, that way you can actually physically see it. Because I could show you this, it's up in my living room, and I could show you, but I mean, the menu's the exact same, right? You're not going to see anything different. It's more about whether or not I actually think this is an upgrade. And yes, I'm not going to say that simplicity of just having the Apple in the middle versus the Apple TV logo in the middle, I don't really care, to be honest about it. It's a set-top box. It's kind of like having a Blu-ray player, right? You put it in there, and I'm not looking at that box anymore. It's back hidden away. In my case, it's behind my TV. I don't even see it. So that's something I really don't care about. Maybe you do. But that, third generation Apple TV 4K, pretty awesome. Thanks for watching to the end. If you have any questions, like I said, post them in the video below. Like, comment, subscribe. Share the video if you can for me. And by all means, check out the setup video. We'll catch you back here on another future video review right here on techgooch. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you soon.